Hi, I'm Colby,
And I'm Kaylee.
and we believe in miracles.
6 months after getting married, found out I was pregnant. About 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and felt like I had to go to the bathroom. So I got up and went to the bathroom and then laid back down, and I just felt kind of weird. So I got up and went to the bathroom again, and it was just a huge rush of blood. So I woke him up. We knew something was wrong. We got to Shannon Labor and Delivery. They took me upstairs. I saw Dr. Myers, who did a pelvic exam and told me that I was fully effaced and dilated. Dr. Adams came on, who was my OB, and she asked me one time, do you want to do everything that we can to resuscitate Blake, try to save her, just everything possible? And I said yes. And she said, we need to go now. We don't have any time. I would love to transfer you over to St. David's, but we don't have time for that.
By the time I walked in, Dr. Weiner was actually walking over with Blake over to her own separate pediatric table, and they were working on her, and it was him and probably 3, 4, maybe 5 other nurses. There were so many people in the room.
And it's hard to imagine how small a 24-week infant is, but if you can think about the palm of your hand, they're not much bigger than the palm of your hand. And so to then do all the things that we need to do, such as start IVs, you can imagine how small the veins are. We also put a tube in to help keep her lungs open. We keep this an environment that's quiet, that's not super bright, and that everybody stays as calm as they can and handles the baby as gently as they can to protect that.
He got her intubated and more stable, and he said, okay, we're gonna go over to the NICU, we're gonna take good care of her.
She was there for a couple hours.
Maybe 4 hours tops after she was born. And then the NICU transport team got there and got her in their transport isolate on a big stretcher with a ventilator and all sorts of pumps and all this equipment. It was amazing to see what they could do with such a little tiny human.
They did a brain ultrasound when she was 2 or 3 days old. And they were checking for bleeding in her brain, which is pretty common with babies who were born as small as she was. And they told us that, there's 4 grades with brain bleeding. And they called and told us that her bleeding in her brain, that it was both a grade 2 on both sides. And they said, let's wait. And so I don't think we stopped praying until the next brain ultrasound. And they said that it stopped. Everything looks okay, and we'll just watch it from there. And the brain bleeding can cause things like cerebral palsy, any sort of developmental delays. It can cause a ton of different things. So it was just one of those where we just wait and see. One night, she was just acting different. Her blood pressure wasn't staying normal. Her heart rate wasn't staying normal. She needed way more medicine than she had needed before. And so we were starting to get worried. One of the doctors came in and said, let's just shoot an abdominal x-ray on her and see what it shows. And it showed that she had a hole in her intestines. And so they had a surgeon come up and they put a drain in her belly to help drain out the fluid that was coming out of the hole in her belly. And they said that most of the time it'll probably need corrective surgery later on. Sometimes it doesn't, so it was another one of those wait and sees that we had to do. They gave her some food, and we had to see if there was a blockage from the drain that they put in and it healing, or if everything was gonna go through like normal, and it did. Everything went through exactly the way it should.
They were like, she's going home today. We want to send her home. She's ready. Y'all probably aren't ready, but she's ready to go. So we're gonna get all the equipment we need set up.
In my department, just having the training to take care of the sickest kids that you can is invaluable. I think some of the training that's been provided helped Kaylee and Blake and her husband when the worst happened to them. We do have several pieces of equipment that are provided to us that I might not, as a manager, have been able to afford for the department. Maybe that would be something that we'd have to wait a year or 2 to get, but because we have CMN, we have that available to us right now.
At the beginning, we just were handed horrible statistics of, she probably won't do this and probably won't do this. And Dr. Weiner came in and said, I've delivered 24-weekers before. I know what I'm doing. We have the technology that we need here. We can stabilize her here, we can treat her here, and then we'll send her to St. David's, but we have what we need here, and we can do this.
What Children's Miracle Network does for us is it allows us to provide up-to-date care, and a lot of that is equipment to maintain somebody that's as small as a 24-week infant, to keep the baby stable so that they have the best chance to do well. It's come a long way. I've been here for 30 years now, and when I got here, 28 weeks was kind of our borderline time, so we can now do babies a month earlier, much better. So we continue to make forward advancements, and we'll keep doing better and better. We never know till we keep learning how to do it, so we learn more all the time.
Please support the Children's Miracle Network
And help a miracle like Blake.